I wasted my money on them Harbor Freight, I guess. Of course, I used them for the gen house for 4-inch holes and for the 5-inch holes that I needed. But it's pretty bad when they don't have the proper sizes, like 2 3/4 inches. They just don't have it. 2 1/2 and it jumps to 3-inch. All right, I'll continue on this when I get these filed out. Man, this is a piece of junk I bought years and years ago. How the hell are you supposed to use these sanding discs on here? They slide over this thing and they'll slip as soon as I put that into the drill. I don't know of any other way they stay on there. These things ain't gonna cut the wood. That's all they had with it. I have a Sears one too. This I got real cheap. But they all come with these type of sanding things. See that? There's no way to hold this on there. It'll just slip. Goes on this what looks like an idler wheel. There's no way it's going to get any traction on that. Well, I got a 1/2-inch reamer here, 1/2-inch shank that is, and we're going to try that. What I need is a straight-sided burr. Oh, where the hell's my glasses now? This is not going to be easy. Not going to be easy.
I tried to fight both on precise amount on that. I don't think it'll be that simple. We'll do one at a time here. Not really the right thing to use, but it's all I got. Probably wonder where I got this. I got this at a yard sale. Many years ago. Good 20 years ago. Yeah, we're getting there. Certainly better than rat tail filing. Again, hole saw went to Home Depot. It cost me $10–15 for one hole saw. So, if you don't have the money, you gotta get what you can get and make sure I'm doing the right one here. You don't want to be cutting the thing too big for the wrong meter here. You got a lot of cutting to do. A lot of cutting. I need really 2 hands to hold this. I don't have an outside vise here. Sure as hell isn't a very neat job. It's getting there. It's getting there. We'll do the rest off camera.
It took me about a half an hour. But I got both meters in. What I got to do now is to mark, and that I'll be probably off anyways, for the screws to come through so that I can screw them to the panel. But I'm just going to drill them and line them up, if I can line them up, and then pull out the meters because the thing's got to be painted yet. Well, together with this huge reamer and this small countersink here, I was able to get the holes made for the meters as well as this, because no drill bit would want a 1/2 inch was just a little bit too big for the power switch and was a little too small for this. So anyways, I got the holes made. This is the outlet. Now the Harbor Freight set, one was too big, one was too small for the single outlet. So there's a little gap around here. I don't know what it is. I can't seem to get the right sizes of things. It's supposed to be American standard on them things, but I don't know. It's marked that. But So that's for the outlet, single outlet, the 2 meters, the VARIC, the power switch, and the fuse. And I was looking for a pilot light. I had a lot of those. I got a lot of switches, but I got no pilot light, so I'll have to go and get a 120 volt pilot light. But I can add that later. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to paint this with the dark gray. I think that would look good with the dark gray here and the black meters. I think that would look pretty neat. I'll do that off camera. Don't need to do that. I'll show you when it's all done, and then I'll mount everything in, and then I have to take my Harbor Freight multifunction tool and cut the square opening for that Chinese meter when I do get it. So I'm not going to let that hold me up. I'm just going to paint it and everything and get this all ready to go. I just wanted to get these holes made so that these things can be put into place here and then wired in the back here. Alright, this is only the first coat. It's upside down, but this is just the first coat. I use latex on it, and we'll put another coat or two on there. And I still got to drill out for the holes for the meter mounting screws. So we'll do that afterwards. I meant to do that before painting it, but that's okay. I got the major holes drilled except for the Chinese meter whenever I get that in, and that'll be it. So I'm going to put another coat of this on here in a while. Being latex, this will dry pretty quick. And this is how you're looking at it from the bench. The 2 meters here, the outlet here, single outlet. The VARIC over here. This power switch, you only need one power switch and you only need one fuse. The meter goes up to 3 amps, so we'll put a 3 amp fuse in there. That should be sufficient. I'm not sure what the rating of the VARIC is. There's no markings on it that I can see. But 2.5 to 3 amps should be safe. Alright, would you believe that it took me longer to drill these 3 holes for the VARIC? I could not get them lined up. It took me longer to do that than to do all this here with the meter screws and everything. What I wanted to do, and I'm going to take this off now to show you, and hopefully it doesn't fall out. I had one hell of a time, and it's still not lined up right. What I wanted to do was to recess the screws so that the faceplate for the VARIC knob, which is in the workshop right now, will not be sitting off the face of the panel. Now, if you look at this is the way I only put 1 coat of paint on it. I'm going to paint it a second coat, and maybe even a third. I could not get it lined up. I still can't get it lined up. I made two templates. You saw me make one on video. I have more trouble trying to make a template and getting things lined up. So I cut these holes big. These are over a 1/2 inch. And the reason for that is I can take these screws and recess them and mount it to the bottom board. Now you're saying the holes are big, and there's nothing I can do about that. I could not get them lined up, and I had to keep making them bigger on the inside. I wanted the holes big here, but I did not want them big on the inside. I wanted them a little better than a 1/4 inch, but it wouldn't line up. It would not line up. I spent well over an hour doing this and making different templates and everything. Just could not do it. So this is glued in, but not dry yet. The shaft fits in there perfectly at a 3/8 inch, so it fits nice and snug. What I'm going to have to do is Mickey Mouse these so I can get these screws in here and put a washer underneath and hope that they go down below the surface here. Because I'm not going to be able to cut this anymore now that I got this glued to here. I can cut on the inside, but I don't want to cut on this. So I took some careful measurements, and when the plate is on here, it'll cover these holes up. When you're pulling the plug in and out on this outlet, which I already got the holes drilled, the bottom, the base plate isn't going to flex on you. So that's how she goes. Unfortunately, as I mentioned earlier, I couldn't get the right size hole saws. Just a hair too big. Don't look too bad. So I got to paint all this before I can begin putting stuff in it. Okay, I put the second coat on it, and I put a carriage bolt up the middle of that VARIC shaft hole there. That's to hold the piece of plywood in place until the glue sets. So I wanted to get the second coat of paint on this. So now it'll be ready for the stuff to go on it, and if it needs another coat, it'll get a third coat. So that's it for today. As you can see on the bench here, I didn't put the third coat on because just as well, because guess what came in the mail from China? And it looks kind of banged up here. Now when I checked online, it said it was at customs last night, so it looked like it went through a battle of Gettysburg here. Well, anyways, we're going to open that on video here. Now what I got to do here, you can see I got the screws just started. What I got to do here is to drill a hole in the end, because the 3-wire ground with plug is going to come through at this end over here where the solder is. It comes down, it's just going to come here rather than to drill in here. No need to do that. We just drill in the end of the 2x3 here. We can either drill it or we can notch it out. So then we just unplug it from here, and we can take the whole board down and service it if anything goes wrong in here. So let's get you on a tripod and we'll get this thing open and check it out. No real way to open this. Just cut the box around here. Wrapped very good. There's one. Holy mackerel. Well, I can say one thing, they packed it really good. A D.I.Y digital meter. Let's get this out of here. Don't get in the way of the camera here. Let's see what it says here. LCD, AC 100 amp, AC 0 to 300 volts. Alright, let's see what we got here. Oh, that's nice. It's all in Chinese. gonna be fun. This will be, I have to cut this opening out. Have that fit in, but I'm not gonna do anything until let me get you a little closer here. If I can zoom in, I don't like doing it with this camera. Because that's digital zoom, and okay, but there's no instructions, of course. If it was, it'd be in Chinese anyways. So that would be up in the corner here. But actually, it just got a wiring diagram back here. So even without the fact that it's not in English, except for the numbers. The numbers are in English. AC goes in here, I guess. This is supposed to be self-powered. Alright, let me study this off camera because I'm wasting video time here. I'll stick a cord on it and plug it in and see if I get a readout here. Alright, you're going to be the first to see this. Either go up in smoke or not work. Because this is written in Chinese back here. Don't know if you can see that. But I took an ohm meter reading of this here, which is the input supposedly. It reads about 11-12 megohms, which would be about right. Okay? I read just about 0 ohms here. This is the sensing coil for the amp meter. And according to the schematic, even though it's in Chinese, your sensing coil goes across here, and then your wire, your load wire, goes through the center of this, and the other end connects, one side connects to the outlet, the other end connects to your load. So we're only going to be concerned with the voltmeter now. And let's raise this up so you can see it. Let's make sure we're still in camera. We got the plug right here. I'm going to back away here. If I blow this, I'm not going to be very happy. Plug it in on the outlet strip, which is fused for 15 amps. Oh, there she is. 117 volts. It's self-powered, that's what I like. I didn't want no battery backups or anything. Alright, I don't know how well you can see that. That's pretty neat. Now the other half is the current. Now, what I'll probably do on this is to put a small fuse on the inside for this meter. A very small fuse, inline. I'll do that on the inside of the panel that I'm making up. I don't need to have a fuse holder on the outside. Just for this meter. Okay. You probably have seen this screw up here in the middle here. Okay. Now the meter is going to go up in this area here. And like I say, the fuse will be inside on the inside. There'll be an inline fuse holder or probably a little fuse block. I think I got one or two of them around. I'll put it down in here somewhere. What I got to do is I got to cut out the square opening. It's not very cool outside today. So I'd like to do that, and then I don't know, maybe I could put a third coat on it. Really don't need it. It looks, I think, pretty good. But I want to cut out the opening, and in order to do that, I got to take careful measurements of this. And then I've got the Harbor Freight tool here, blade, that I bought for the plexiglass, actually for the case for the ESR meter. So that's how I'm going to cut this out. And I've never used this particular type of blade, but I'm sure we can work with it with no problem. What I have to do first and foremost is I have to cut the end probably drill a hole off to the side here, not in the line of this, for the cord. And the cord's going to be, as I said, a 3-wire cord because I want the outlet to be grounded. The rest of the VARIC and stuff obviously isn't. So let's get started on that. We'll see how it is outside. If it's too hot, we won't do it. All right. 1.5 by 2.5, as close as I could measure it. I also use the digital micrometer there that I got from Harbor Freight. So as close as I can measure, it's 1.5 by 2.5. And there's little plastic snaps on the sides. I had to break those off because they would not go into the plywood, because the plywood's too thick. It's made for thin sheet metal or thin plastic. But that's not a problem. I can put a bead of silicone in here and just slap it down in there. I haven't checked out the current feature of it and see if that works, but the voltmeter works, so we're all set there. So we're going to cut this out, and then we're going to drill that round hole that I mentioned over on this end here. So we're getting Harbor Freight. We're going to change the bit now, and we'll get back on this as soon as we're ready to drill this out. All right, I got a clamp to the bench here. Hopefully the vibration won't upset the camera too much. The last time I noticed the video was a little jumpy there when I was doing the hammering with the small brads. We got the small Harbor Freight bit on there now, and hopefully we don't cut this thing too big. We'll find out. I got a weight on this end because I can only clamp on this end because I can't get clamps over here. So, all right, here goes. When we nick the surface, I may have to give this another coat of paint. Hopefully I cut that just a hair small. I couldn't avoid the corners messing up. It's only got a tiny little flange on it. Let's get the meter out here and just see if it'll go in there.